In the heart of a bustling city stood a peculiar garden, known to the few who chanced upon its hidden paths as the Garden of Questions. Enclosed by high ivy-covered walls, this sanctuary was untouched by the clamor of the world. At the center, under the shade of an ancient oak, sat an old man known simply as the Keeper. He was the guardian of a great book that was said to contain all the wisdom one could seek. Yet he offered no answers, only questions. One crisp autumn morning, a young man named Eli, burdened by the relentless pursuit of purpose, wandered into the garden. His eyes, filled with the fatigue of existential contemplation, caught the attention of the Keeper. "What brings you to this sanctuary of inquiry?" asked the Keeper, his voice gentle like the breeze that rustled through the leaves above. "I seek understanding, the purpose of life, the reason behind our existence," Eli replied, his voice a mixture of hope and despair. The Keeper nodded, as if acquainted with this manner of quest. "You are welcome here, where questions bloom like flowers. But be warned, here we cultivate questions, not answers. Will you proceed?" Puzzled but intrigued, Eli nodded. The Keeper guided him to a bench beside the great oak and handed him a small, empty notebook. "This is the Book of Queries," he explained. "When you have a question, write it down. You may find the more questions you ask, the more your perspective broadens." As days turned into weeks, Eli filled the notebook with questions. Each day, he would find a new piece of parchment beside the notebook with a question from the Keeper, prompting further reflection. What is truth? Is it absolute or relative? What does it mean to live a good life? Is suffering necessary for understanding? With each question, Eli's mind opened like the blossoms around him. One evening, as the sun dipped below the garden walls, Eli looked up from his notebook. He noticed how the ivy clung to the stone, each leaf a small part of a greater whole, each contributing to the beauty and function of its climb. A realization dawned upon him. Perhaps, he thought, the purpose is not a destination, but a journey. Maybe the meaning lies in the pursuit itself, in the questions we ask and the paths they lead us on. Overwhelmed with a newfound serenity, Eli approached the Keeper. "Thank you, wise guardian, for guiding me to my own questions. I came seeking answers, but I leave cherishing the questions themselves. Through them, I have seen a multitude of paths and the beauty in not knowing, which itself seems a profound answer." The Keeper smiled, his face crinkling like the bark of the oak above. "Then the garden has served you well, traveler. Remember, life is an unending dialogue between one's soul and the mysteries of the universe. Keep your book of queries close. Let it be your compass." Eli left the garden as leaves began to fall, carrying with him the precious book filled with his handwritten questions. He realized that while he might never uncover all the answers, he now revered the beauty of the quest, the depth of inquiry, and the growth it brought to his soul. For the rest of his days, wherever he traveled, people would often find him deep in thought, scribbling in his notebook. And in times of challenge or decision, he would open his book of queries and find there the seeds of wisdom, nurtured not by the answers he had sought, but by the questions he had learned to ask.